I've been doing storytime videos way too much on this channel, so I thought I might give it a break and actually do some normal commentaries. It's been a boring year and I don't have any more stories to tell, so that's why I'm gonna be doing all these normal commentaries where I just talk about just basically anything I want to. And this video is a special video I've been wanting to make for a while, and here it is. Now before we begin this video, hit that like button. So I might go off topic in this video sometimes, mostly to either give context or just add in something random, but this video is about things I couldn't share to anyone else but on here. Have you ever had any childhood trauma or any experience that made you change and it has affected your mental health to where you start doing things you normally would never want to do and you start acting like a total dick to everybody? I started remembering this one time, and it was years ago. I spoke to somebody about life stuff, and they told me that they had this problem involving their family and all that. Basically, his family was controlling his life too much and causing him stress. Like, anytime he messed up even one time, his family would end up berating him and insulting him, just making him feel bad. But it wasn't just that, but his family would not be supportive and would make certain decisions that would make Jake, and that's what I'm going to call him, realize that he needs to move out and cut off his family. Mostly his family would make a lot of excuses that was keeping him from doing anything, such as, "Oh, you couldn't get a job because you might end up losing this." But she would say he needs one, so it was very confusing to him. His family was never supportive of anything he wanted to do and was keeping him from doing it. I mean, you want him to work, but at the same time you don't want him to because you're afraid he might end up losing something that you worked hard to get him. It's like you're trying to ruin his life by filling his head with these shitty theories and excuses. Do you know that when parents start saying negative shit and making up these theories that they are the ones that are influencing their child's mind and making them think that they are nothing and that they don't do anything? Do you know that families who say negative shit, berate their child, or do anything that's gonna affect the child for a long time, they call that verbal abuse? So basically, it's the parents or any family member's fault because the stuff they are saying to their own child is clearly making things worse. Especially saying that all the stress they get is from them as well. But there was one thing that Jake told me, and that was his parents had control over his bank account, meaning his mother merged his account with her account. So he really couldn't do anything or buy anything without their permission. He even told me that whenever he's with people that are not his family, like friends or anyone, he seems to do pretty fine and he's happy. But when he's with his family at the house, of course, or they are around him, he always messes up and never does anything good. He's always felt like that anything his family has ever told him or anything they showed him how to do, it never worked out, and nothing they ever did ever worked out. Because why would he ever take advice or guidance from his family members? Jake was always pretended to agree with his family, pretended to like them when he doesn't, and to top it all off, he would never believe anything that comes out of their mouth. I will say that me and Jake have some similarities, but the rest are different when it comes to situations with our families. I had some problems that were the same, and it has taken its toll on me, but there were others that were different. I always felt like nothing that my family has ever done for me or even showed me has ever worked, unlike non-family members that actually helped me. I've only told my in-real-life friend about these problems and he's understood, but after I came to the realization about all my family members years ago, I've been wanting to cut them off and just move to a different state far away from them, because all their shit they say or do is the reason why I always lose my temper and say fucked up shit. And speaking of that, it brings me to the next part of this video, is how childhood trauma or your experiences can change you. So, like I said earlier, my anger and how I react to things all come from my experiences with my family that instead changes me a lot. I've forgotten to mention this in an old Storytime video that you see on your screen, but let me just tell you how all this affected my mental health. Now, you know I always hanged out with a friend named Chris, and that me and him get into certain situations that never should have happened in the first place. Well, over the past few months or so, I've recently been losing my temper a lot and saying some fucked up shit when I'm with Chris, and I already could tell that he was starting to lose trust in me based on the tone of his voice, and he has to lecture me about shit. And me and him don't even talk that much like we used to after all my recent anger issues. I won't go into detail what fucked up shit I said because it's something that should be kept behind closed doors anyway. No one needs to know what I said. But all I can say is that it's something I shouldn't have said anyway. Now, it wasn't just me being angry, but there were some Roblox videos I made with Chris and some other people that he seemed to not like the fact that I never took them down off my channel even though they never left a negative impact on anyone. So I decided to take the videos down so he doesn't feel the need to worry about it, because why would anyone care about simple videos? Now, they're not actually deleted, I just private them so no one else could see them. So yeah, they are still on my channel, they just won't be viewed by anyone. I like to look back at old videos just to remind myself how stupid me and everyone else were back then. Now, there was another part that happened after all this stuff with Chris. So I get this comment on one of my videos by someone, and it's someone's friend that I know, and I'm gonna call him Prince. And the comment was him wanting to add me on PlayStation and then mention he had Twitter, to where I started thinking, did he follow me on Twitter or something? So I go and check Twitter, and sure enough, I see a follow notification from him, but he also tweeted at me saying that he wanted to talk to me. So I said to myself, well, okay then, I'll be friends with him since he seems chill. Now, what I wasn't expecting was Prince's friend to notice that and then mention about it to me. So it was on the 26th of May in this year, and I get a message from Karen, not the LBP Karen, but the other one. She apologizing to me about not talking to me, and the reason is because I asked her to do a VC with me, and she said that she was in a group VC with some people, which was understandable. But then I remembered that Chris also said the exact same thing, so I was a bit curious about it, and I tell her it was fine. And then she replies back saying, no, it's not fine. I was under a lot of stress. I guess I was worried because I was browsing through Twitter and I saw Prince was speaking to you, which I kind of got stressed out by it. And the first thing I said to myself was, what? Why would you get stressed out about it? I don't get it. So then she follows up with, it's not at all a bad thing. You see, I try to protect my best friend from, bullies, people that might hurt him. And then she goes on to say it's her first time letting him befriend someone like me. So I replied to her and I say, hey, if I want to be friends with someone, I'm gonna do it, even if it's Prince. And then she replies back with a sad face saying, that's great. And that clicked into my head like, okay, I don't think she's happy about it. So I tell her how surprised I was that he wanted to talk to me, and then she tells me how she was surprised, and at the same time she was scared, because then she says, you don't know what it's like when your best friend reaches out to people you know. I just feared that he might turn on me whenever he befriends people that don't like me or straight up hate me. And I reply back saying, hey, I'm gonna befriend people regardless if they hated somebody I know or not. The only time I would ever cut them off or be angry at them is if they start shit with me or I find out they did something illegal. Either way, if they are chill with me, then I'm gonna be chill with them even if they don't like it and said this about them. Like, I'm not just gonna go by people's word when they say that this person did this. Unless they share evidence with me, I'm not actually gonna do anything. And then we continued talking about it to where she got to the part where she was afraid that I would yell at her if he got pissed off and told me, to where I was like, why the fuck are you so afraid? And then she tells me that it's because of how I go overboard when I'm angry. To where I was like, the whole me getting angry thing, so I had to go into serious mode and straight up tell her, first off, that was a long time ago and it should be forgotten like the other times I got mad. Second, I don't even get mad anymore and I don't want to stress out Chris with that. There are many reasons why I was acting like that, but I'm only going to tell that to people I feel comfortable with. Meaning my GF and her friend, because they are the only ones that I tell about certain situations, especially when it involves other people. Then there's my best friend, of course. Now we continued this conversation with her thinking that I was upset, and then she mentioned something she experienced in her life, but I'm not going to say what it was because it's very private. And then I had to change my tone a bit and be a bit mean in my response a little bit. So I say to her, look Karen, how is your best friend befriending someone you know an issue? That should not be something to get upset about. I may not allow you or the others to add my friends, but some of them do, which I don't like it when they do that. But I'll only do that if I have the slightest feeling that something bad is going to happen. I keep both of my friend groups separate because after my experiences with them and how they do things, it's best to keep them away from each other because I don't want another fucking drama war to start that not only I will get blamed for it, but then I have to try and fix it and settle it until it calms down. And then I followed up with, you know you can't always protect the person you care about all the time. Mostly you need to let them do what they want. Same thing I need to do with other people. I've been called by people too controlling and other shit. Even if people say that they won't turn on me, it still bothers me to this day. Most of the stuff you or anyone do remind me of my old self once before, and it makes me want to improve myself so I can learn how to handle a situation better. And then the last thing I said was, if you don't want people angry at you, including Prince, then don't do things that might cause it, and don't get so offended at anything. At some point, the more you do this, the more it'll get worse to where your worst fears will happen and you'll lose friends. And I think she understood what I was saying, and we just continued talking until finally it was over. So what I'm saying here is that if you let your experiences and trauma cloud your mind, it will eventually change you into a different person. And if you hang around toxic people too much, that can affect you and change you as well. It's a good idea to get rid of people you find problematic and cut them out of your life so you don't feel any worse. So yeah, that's all I had to say in this video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. Share my videos around because it helps my channel grow. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.